The void between stars held no mercy, and Cale Durnan had learned that truth the hard way. His colony ship, the Perseverance, had been torn apart by a gravitational anomaly 3 months prior. He was the sole survivor, drifting in an escape pod with failing life support, watching the cosmos through a cracked viewport as oxygen ticked down to nothing. Then she appeared. Lithera materialized in the cramped pod like smoke given form, a being of impossible beauty and terrible power. Her skin shimmered with the deep crimson of dying suns, and her eyes held galaxies within their depths. Horns curved elegantly from her temples, and when she smiled, Cale saw the weight of eons in that expression. A human, she purred, her voice resonating through dimensions Cale couldn't perceive. Alone, dying. How delicious. Kyle should have been terrified. Perhaps he was too exhausted for fear. If you're here to kill me, you're late to the party. I've got maybe an hour left. Lithera laughed, and the sound made the pod's metal walls vibrate. Kill you? No, little mortal. I am bound by ancient laws to offer aid to those who summon me. However, accidentally. She gestured to the pod's navigation console, where Cale had been desperately broadcasting distress signals across every frequency. Your cries reached me across the veil. I offer you 3 wishes, as is custom. 3 wishes. Kyle's laugh was bitter, like a fairy tale. Mock if you wish, but choose carefully. I am Lithara, demon goddess of the outer dark, and my gifts always come with truth, whether you can bear it or not. Cale studied her, this impossible being who claimed godhood. His mind, trained in engineering and systems analysis, worked through possibilities. 3 wishes. Most humans would wish for rescue, for wealth, for power, but Cale had spent 3 months in the dark, watching his crewmates die one by one through the view screens before the pod separated. He'd had time to think about humanity's place in the cosmos. My first wish, he said slowly, is that you feel everything I've felt since the accident. Every moment of fear, every second of grief, every hour of loneliness. I want you to experience what it means to be human in the face of cosmic indifference. Lithera's smile froze. What? You heard me. You're a goddess, right? You've probably never suffered a day in your eternal existence. You toy with mortals like we're amusing insects, so feel what we feel. Understand what you're playing with. For a moment, Lithera looked amused, even intrigued. Then Cale's memories hit her like a kinetic weapon. She felt the Perseverance shudder as the anomaly's gravity well seized it. She experienced Cale's panic as hull breaches blossomed like deadly flowers. She lived through his desperate sprint to the escape pods, his hands shaking as he sealed the hatch, knowing he was leaving others behind. She felt the survivor's guilt that ate at him like acid. Then came the isolation. 73 days alone in a pod designed for 2-week journeys. The slow degradation of hope as rescue never came. The way he rationed food and water with mathematical precision, prolonging a life he wasn't sure was worth prolonging. The conversations he had with ghosts of the dead just to hear voices. The moment he realized he would die here, forgotten in the cosmic dark. Lithera stumbled backward, her immortal form suddenly feeling heavy. Her breath, she had never needed to breathe before, came in ragged gasps. Tears, alien and burning, streaked down her cheeks. Stop, she whispered. Please stop. I can't stop it, Kyle said quietly. I've lived it. Now you have too. The demon goddess collapsed to her knees, shuddering. For the first time in her endless existence, she understood fragility. She felt the crushing weight of mortality, the desperate clutching at meaning in a universe that offered none. She experienced what it meant to be small, temporary, and terrifyingly alone. When the emotional avalanche finally subsided, Lithera looked up at Cale with eyes that had changed. The smugness was gone. The casual cruelty had evaporated. What remained was something raw and new. You are cruel, she said hoarsely. No, Cale replied. I'm human. And now you know what that means. Lithera rose slowly, her form flickering as she struggled to recompose herself. You have 2 wishes remaining. Will you torture me further? Cale shook his head. My second wish is simple. I want you to remember this feeling forever. Not just as a memory, but as a permanent part of who you are. Let it change you. Another shudder ran through Lithera's form, but this time she nodded. Granted. And your third wish? Take me home, Cale said. Not to Earth, that's gone. But to the nearest human settlement. And when you deal with mortals in the future, remember that we're not toys or amusements. We're people trying to survive in a universe that doesn't care if we live or die. We deserve respect, if nothing else. Lethera was silent for a long moment. Then she extended her hand. I will grant your wish. But know this, Kaeldurnan. You have done something no mortal has ever accomplished. You have wounded a goddess not with weapons or magic, but with truth. I will remember you, and I will remember this lesson. She snapped her fingers, and the pod dissolved. Kael found himself standing on a familiar station deck, surrounded by shocked colonists who rushed to help the stranger who had appeared from nowhere. As medical personnel led him away, Kael looked back once. In the shadows of the docking bay he saw her, Lethera, watching. She raised one hand in acknowledgement, and in her eyes, he saw something that hadn't been there before. Understanding. Then she was gone, back to the void between stars, carrying with her the weight of human suffering and the knowledge of what it truly meant to be mortal. Kael never saw her again, but across the galaxy, in the centuries that followed, stories began to spread of a changed goddess, one who dealt with mortals fairly, who showed mercy where once she had shown only cruelty. They called her the Transformed One, the deity who had learned compassion from a dying human in a broken escape pod. And in the depths of the cosmos, Lethera remembered, and wept, and grew.